Really, really, really excited to be in Berkeley today and this weekend. Our team, I thought, really finished the season on a high and got to the Big 12 tournament championship. And obviously that didn't work out the way that we wanted to, but really pleased with the way that we finished the season after some ups and downs throughout conference play. And I think that we are at a place right now where we're playing good basketball, and I'm excited for the matchup with Western.
All right, at this time, I will take questions for the student athletes. If you could raise your hand, we will have a mic holder come over to you. And please state your name and affiliation.
Hi, ladies. Janie McCauley from the Associated Press. How much did that trip, out to Stanford really, and that win right after they had beaten UConn, really kind of propel, get your season off to a good start that might have helped, get things going?
Okay. I think it really helped us build our confidence. It was early in the season, and for me as a young player, it was kind of trying to figure out our identity type thing. So once we won that, I feel like we came together and it really built our confidence.
I just agree with what Ariel said. Stanford coming off that win against UConn, I think it just kind of solidified how good we could be if we worked that hard. And it kind of gave us a fearless mindset going through the preseason.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com for the student athletes. You guys kind of have a rough patch after Neko was out. For you, what was the biggest catalyst to get over that and finish off the season strong and get to the final of the Big 12 tournament?
Nneka going down was really hard for all of us, from the coaching staff to the players. She was more than just a great player, she was a leader on the floor and in the locker room. So I think we all had to evaluate ourselves and what we could bring every day and how we could help replacing her. And we just had to buy in, so it took a little bit of time for us to all know what our roles are and do it.
Yeah, when Nneka went down, it was kind of hard for all of us because it wasn't just her leaving the team. It was about Nneka being hurt. But as a team, we just came together and tried to fill in all the gray areas because she was a huge part of our team. So we just tried to stick together.
Brad Stevens, Bowling Green Daily News. For those of us that haven't got to watch you play very often this year, kind of describe what you guys like to do on the court, and what do you think makes you guys a dangerous team in this tournament?
I think our coaches instilled in us a very strong defensive mindset. So we try to play lockdown defense and rebound the ball very well. Our defense is what's supposed to fuel our offense. So we're getting better offensively, and throughout our last stretch of conference and tournament, we've gotten a lot better offensively. But at the end of the day, we're a defensive team.
I agree with you, Monty. I feel like we're a defensive team. We try to make different hustle plays. And our mindset as a team, I feel, is what makes us who we are.
For either one of y'all, what do you see when you watch Western Kentucky on tape, and when are you guys going to have to stop when you face them?
I think Western Kentucky is a great team. They have a lot of players who do a lot of things. They're very versatile. And it's going to be a couple of matchup problems in the paint because they do have very guard-oriented post players. But I think it's going to be a fun game. We both play hard, and we both want to win.
They are a very versatile team, and I'm just excited to play them.
One for Ariel and then for Amani. You were coached by a former Longhorns player. How did that prepare you for kind of taking that step your first season at Texas?
Well, being coached by her, she didn't even talk about choosing Texas or anything. She didn't want to push me into a certain direction, but she really talked to me about it's really a mental thing coming to college. You have to be prepared mentally because physically you can't prepare for it. So you just have to try to be mentally prepared for it.
I see that is your family all still, a lot of them still in LA?
Yes.
And so how many people will be road tripping up there to cheer you on?
I have a little handful of people coming. It's fun because I don't get to play at home often. I actually just saw somebody I went to middle school with who plays for the boys team, so it's just fun being home.
Anything further for our student athletes? Okay, at this point, we'll go ahead and release you guys to the locker room. Thank you both very much, and we will take questions for Coach.
Coach Chad Bishop, Bowling Green, WBKO TV. Give us a scouting report on Western, if you could.
Well, I think the players, obviously, they're paying attention to film, so that's good for us. They are extremely versatile. Michelle has done a terrific job with that program. I know it's got a rich history with it, and I think she has stepped in there and clearly revived the program, and it's in a terrific direction. This particular team, I agree with our players, so they are listening. They do present matchup problems for us. They play really hard, as I think our team does most of the time. But there are some matchups that will be difficult for us. In the post, they can stretch you, force you to guard them on the perimeter, which will be an issue for us. And their guards are very good, so they make a living off of penetration, either with their posts or their guards. And then I think on the flip side of that, they mix defenses a lot, which at times our team has not handled very well. Luckily, we've had a lot of versatile teams in our league. I think that's the one thing that's so beneficial about the Big 12 is that every night you're seeing a different personality of a team. And we've played so many different teams in our league that give us somewhat of a look. It wouldn't matter who we played in the country. I think we would understand what we're looking at. So we're somewhat prepared for that, but again, we struggle sometimes against changing defenses, and I think they'll present us with that.
Coach, Western's had they'll have a 6-day layoff in between games. You guys will have a much longer layoff. How do you overcome that? What kind of things have you all been doing to stay fresh and avoid coming out rusty tomorrow?
Well, it was a little bit less of a layoff than we had last year because we did play in the championship game. So because of the last leg of conference play for us, which included a difficult road trip to West Virginia and then turn around 24 hours later and play TCU in our last conference game, and then we went to the conference tournament, they needed somewhat of a break. So we gave them a little bit of a physical break for a few days, and then we got back at it. So we've periodically taken a few days off with a few days of practice. But I think it was good for them because, again, the last stretch of a really difficult league was hard on our team. So I wanted them to catch their breath and get excited about playing again, and I think that they are.
Karen, looking back, these programs have played each other a lot, but not for a lot of years.
Coach Conrad's on the trip, so she's reminded me of that.
Okay, what did she?
Oh, just the battles that they used to have and how fun it was to compete against Western and what rich tradition that they have, which I was in the league with them one year the 1 year I spent at North Texas, so I'm aware of their program. Their fan base is terrific. They're a fun team to play. Should be fun.
Anything further for Coach? Go ahead.
Obviously, one of Western's best players, Alexis Govans, the San Antonio native. I'm sure you probably watched her when she was playing in high school. How talented is she, and what kind of, how versatile is she on the basketball court, and what do you guys have to do to slow her down tomorrow?
Well, I didn't see her play in high school because I actually was not in the state at the time during her high school's career. But trust me when I tell you I know about her because her high school coach I coached at Texas when I was an assistant. Anissa Hastings is a former Longhorn, so I have heard and seen plenty about her. Very versatile, again. Presents a real problem for our team because if she's in the post, then it's a complete matchup issue. We will probably have to go small. And then her ability to move around positions. You sort of have to really be in tune with where she's at on the floor because she moves anywhere from the 1 to the 4. So luckily, again, I think that we can reflect back on a couple of teams in our league that have similar type players. I think the most impressive thing about her to me is her competitiveness. And I can reflect that back to her high school coach and not be surprised about how competitive she is. I'm sure she'll be ready to play.
Karen, I know that November is a long time ago in the scope of a season, but that win at Stanford, what did it do for your team, and especially some of the young players who, as they said, this gave us a fearless type mindset going forward?
Well, I think at the time we didn't quite know where we were. We felt like we had some pieces that we could put together, and to go out, obviously after they had just beaten UConn, but in particular just to go on someone's home court and break a winning streak, and it was exciting. I don't know that we can look back on that now because we're a totally different basketball team at this point, but I think it was a win that really gave them some confidence to go to UCLA 2 days later and win, and then come home and play Tennessee at home and win that game. I think that win absolutely put them in the frame of mind to handle our non-conference schedule, because we had some daunting games ahead of us. And I think it gave them so much enthusiasm and confidence because they had done a lot last year, and we built on, I think that game showed us that we had built on our season from last year.
Cheryl Coward, hoopfeed.com. The same question for you as I had for the players. What for you was the biggest catalyst, and maybe some players that stood out or stepped up that you didn't expect to help you guys get over the injuries and other mishaps in the season?
First of all, thanks for all you do, because we keep up and we appreciate it. It's hard to put a finger on one thing or one person. I think NECA, and I will say it wasn't just NECA's injury. There were a string of injuries. Nakia Jones is out also, so you're talking about 4 players that we had to figure out how to fill that void, and it took some time. I mean, it was an emotional blow for our team, not only a physical blow to see how we could produce what NECA was producing, but also an emotional blow. So it took them some time. But I think once we decided she's not coming back and we need to move forward, it became a collective effort. I don't think that there's any one person, although I could single out 2 or 3 that I think have stepped forward. Selena Rodrigo is playing much better than she was in the middle of the season. Breonna Taylor is someone that you would have to pinpoint because she was coming off the bench and had a distinct role of being an energizer off the bench, and then all of a sudden we're throwing her into the starting lineup. And that was the one thing that was difficult to transition, which was we had so many players, as she mentioned, the Stanford game. We had such a good flow of this is how we'll start the game, and then this is how we moved into different ways of playing according to personnel. And their roles just continually kept changing throughout the injury bug. So I think to answer your question, it was more about the fact that, okay, we finally got to this place the last month of season where this is who we have. And no one got hurt, and we stayed with a team that could finally figure out. And then Imani became healthy. That's a huge factor that we can't overlook, is that she missed the whole entire first semester. And when she came back, her timing was terrible. She was out of shape. And so you're seeing the Imani right now that everybody kind of remembers from last year. So all of that sort of started happening late in the conference season, which was Imani feeling better and then their roles getting established again. So I think it was just an establishment of roles. They got comfortable again, which is important for young people.
Anything further for Coach? Karen, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck tomorrow.